Say, get a load of that moon, look at the stars, we get it all for free. All the pretty dirty sing for people like you and me. You've heard of roses are red, violets are blue, that's corny poetry. Well, maybe corn is just the thing for people like you and me. Folks may say we're antiquated, if they do, who cares? So we're not sophisticated, leave it to the millionaires. I'm gonna stick to the moon, stay with the stars, that's my philosophy. Nature must have thought of spring for people like you and me.
Say, get a load of those guys high in the sky, wing into victory.
Just to make the future bright for people like you and me.
And get a load of those guys doing their job, keeping the sea lanes free.
I've been at 'em in the fight for people like you and me. You must put your heart and soul in everything you do. Keep 'em flying, keep 'em rolling, Uncle Sam will see you through. We'll have to roll up our sleeves, tighten our belts, but through the dark you'll see the lady with the liberty light for people like you and you and you and people like me, people like you and
Kimberly.
Happy Friday, everyone. How could you not feel good after hearing Kimberly Hockey, one of our guests today? I mean, every time I hear her sing, my heart soars. I've often said, and I truly believe this, that if we began every day with a show tune, there would be no strife in the world. At least that's the way I think. Well, hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy almost the end of July. Can you believe it? In just 2 weeks, I go to Provincetown, where I will be doing 2 shows there. So join me in Provincetown if you'd like. But celebrate each of the artists that you're going to be seeing today. Today, we are going to be talking about chosen family. Those of us who were part of the New York City cabaret scene refer to it as a community. And it has its pluses, it has its minuses. And one of the pluses of the New York City cabaret scene is my dear friend, Doris Deer. Ray DeForest, with a cookie in his mouth. See, you never know. See, everyone, you never know when I'm going to bring you on. So, anyway, Ray, for those of you who get my newsletter, did not see Ray in the lineup last week. One of my guests got a gig today, which we're always happy about, and Ray graciously stepped in. So, Ray, welcome to the show.
Always a bridesmaid, never the bride.
Well, today you're the bride. I'm celebrating you. So I want to ask you, who or what are you celebrating today?
Well, people who know me and follow me know that last August I was diagnosed with non-operable, uh, very severe cancer, and they didn't think I'd live past Christmas. Um, and here I am. A year later, I am undetectable. I go through lots and lots of prescriptions and treatments. I have an amazing, I never had so many doctors in my life. I went from taking one vitamin a day to having vitamin cases and going to radiation and everything else. But here I am. I am celebrating every day like there is no tomorrow because I'm not quite sure when those tomorrows will end.
Well, I can honestly say that for all of us, I mean, none of us are promised to tomorrow, but you were given a special warning to, you were told a year ago, if you don't mind me bringing this up,
So,
but you told me a year ago that when you got this diagnosis, you were told to get your affairs in order.
yes, that's
That
correct.
must be the most horrendous thing to hear someone say to you.
Yeah, doctors, my doctors are very honest, but doctors, I mean, they just don't know, right? So we had to do a lot of tests. And I remember the day when my doctor called me after scans. They took 37 biopsies and then they did a full body scan. And she called me and she said, "Pop the champagne. We expected your cancer to be everywhere, and it is nowhere except where it is. So now we can treat you, and hopefully it won't spread." And it hasn't. So, I mean, it is a life-changing moment. It is a very scary, I mean, I have to admit, every day I wake up, I'm a little scared. I'm a little not sure of can I get through the day today? And honestly, music gives me life and joy. It really does. I listen to it every day. We're in the process of writing and casting my Christmas show that I've been doing 11 years at the Triad Theater,
And
December
I've been
19th
to
and
most of
20th.
them.
Yes, you have. You've been a great supporter.
Yes, I love
And
those shows.
and and I'm doing a television project right. I mean, music is my life. It has been. It's the way I've made my money through theater, television, and film and everything for 47 years. And I turn that music on, I listen to a show tune, and I smile, and it lifts me up and it gets me through the rest of my day.
No, I have music playing all day long in my house from all different genres. I just love it all.
Yeah.
I want to ask you because today we're talking about chosen family, and I want to talk about two things. First of all, the very basis of the work that you do, I would say the heart of the work that you do is family,
Hmm.
because we've learned so much about your mom through your alter ego, Doris Deer, and your sister, who sadly we lost a few years ago, and I remember that time for you as well. But I want to talk today specifically about chosen family, and
Hmm.
you probably have been given the light of what a chosen family is based on your circumstances more than most people will face in an entire lifetime. So, the
Yeah.
question that I want to ask you, and I think I already know the answer to this, but the question is there a pivotal moment when you realize that your chosen family would be essential to your growth as an artist and as a human being?
I mean, as an artist, it's always been a chosen family that have surrounded me. I mean, my first job was as a kid of the kingdom for Disney in 1979. I quit college my senior year to do that job, and I only discovered theater 2 years prior at University of Maryland. So I was green. I knew nothing. I was barely trained. I had done summer stock, but the people I surrounded me around me lifted me up and taught me and mentored me. I have had mentors through my entire career. So on the artist side, it's always about chosen family. And especially since my cancer, I sort of re-met my chosen family, and in my life, chosen family. I mean, I'm part of the LGBT community. I'm on the SAG-AFTRA board, and I help run the LGBTQ committee across the United States, and help actors. fulfill their life and be authentic and come out and all that. And I think the hardest part of this whole thing is that there were people that I thought were my family. And with my cancer diagnosis, I realized they weren't. And I had to say goodbye to some of what I thought were my longest and deepest friendships. And that was very, very, very difficult for me. But
Oh,
I had to, I had to surround myself with joy and uplifting. My partner is an angel. He has been amazing. And my friends have, but I had to make sure that all my friends were part of that.
we need to do an afternoon just talking about this
Yeah.
because there's so much that I want to unravel with this. But we've got other guests waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
So as we do here, there are 4 people waiting in the wings. You're going to pull a number 1 through 4, and I hope none of you have a cookie in your mouth. But someone's about to come on. So who? Door number 1, 2, 3, or 4?
3.
And that is a new member of our family, Lovin Batteau, who we're learning something about. He has a new collaborative album of songs based on poems by classical Greek poets and recorded by
Wow.
friends Tom Paxton, Eric Andersen, Livingston and Kate Taylor. We can go on and on and on. I'm going to bring this on. And Robin, I have to tell you, just a couple of nights ago, I'm a big TCM fan.
Okay.
And so this week, on Wednesday night I saw for the first time Helen of Troy.
Cool.
Of Sparta.
Nice.
And, have you ever seen the film?
I haven't. No.
Well, the woman, and I wish that I knew her, and she's an Italian actress, and she did the entire film based on what Ben Mankiewicz told us prior to the film, phonetically. She didn't speak English.
Wow.
And she had no accent.
Okay.
And she was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
So why this theme, Robin?
Why this theme? Well, I was, I read a little bit about you, and just as you got caught by the stage in 4th grade, I got caught by Greek mythology in 4th grade.
Wow.
And in fact, I had my first moment on the stage playing the part of a corpse in a piece of Aeschylus. And of course, to every 9-year-old boy, playing a corpse is like, that's it. That's the type of thespianism. And I was fascinated by the whole panoply of civilization that kind of came alive in ancient Athens. And I mean, there was a mythology, there was democracy, there was all kinds of science and art and everything in between that kind of were forced through a turbine in the kind of trade capital of the Western world in Athens, and brought set fire to the world in a way. Unfortunately, it was a couple hundred years of tremendous development in these areas, which unfortunately kind of came to a bit of a close in 350 BC when Plato died and Aristotle became the leading intellect of the time, and became the tutor of young Alexander the Great. And of course, Alexander the Great then said the hell with democracy and took over the world, became king of the world. And Aristotle was an interesting guy because he did a lot of things to write stuff down, which is a lot of what ancient Athens did for us, is so we could see what was going on, what people were thinking and feeling. But Socrates and Plato, who were the leading intellectuals before Aristotle, thought that women and slaves should be educated in preparation for becoming citizens. And when they died, and Aristotle took over the mantle of intellect, he didn't agree with that. So that was sort of the end of a certain amount of progress that we could have made in democracy. But that aside, it's interesting that the Aristophanes, a joke that Aristophanes made in one of his plays, probably killed Socrates, because the jury that convicted Socrates was basically everyone in every citizen of Athens who wanted to be on the jury. They had thousands of people on juries. And Aristophanes' joke was about how Socrates was a sophist, which was like these guys who were basically, they were lawyers who taught the young how to talk back to their parents. And so naturally, rich kids all wanted to hire these guys, and their parents hated it. And so he made this joke about Socrates being a sophist. And then I think enough of the citizens were convinced by the joke that they convicted Socrates. And anyway, enough tragedy. But on the other hand, Greek tragedy is where it all comes from. You know,
well, yeah, I don't think anyone's going to hear this on any other podcast today. But I want to bring on our next guest in just a moment. But before we do, two questions that I'll ask you. First of all, growing up, did your family share this passion with you?
Well, my family just loved music. My dad was a science professor at Harvard, and my mom was a concert pianist in New York, who of course gave it up to be a mom, which is what you did back in those days. And my dad was played the piano and the guitar and the recorder all equally badly, but he had just a great enthusiasm for music, and of course the two of them had a great appreciation, and played all kinds of music, classical and jazz and blues and folk, and when I grew up, I was born in 1948, so when I heard the Everly Brothers in 1957 singing "Bye Bye Love," I said, "Wow, that's my stuff." And then I heard I heard some wonderful folk music in the next couple of years, and I said, "Well, that's pretty fun. I think I might be able to do that kind of thing." And so I started writing songs, and all that led to my total downfall of going to Harvard and discovering that Harvard wasn't all it was cracked up to be. Now in the 60s, it was sort of like going to college, because what you majored in was partying and protesting. It was the garden of the mind was not exactly the 1960s in college. And it's when I went back, I left with one of my family. My dad died, my family ran out of money, so I left college to help the family, and then just kind of stayed in the music world, and then decided to come back during the pandemic, when like everybody else, I thought, what the hell am I going to do? Just going to sit here? And I thought, well, maybe there's some unfinished business I can take care of. I had a semester to go, so I called Harvard and I said, "Hey, can I come back?" And they said, "Sure, of course, but check out to see whether you still have the temperament to be a student by taking an online course on Zoom." Because it was during the pandemic, of course. Mm-hmm. And so I took this course in the culture of ancient Greece, and fell deeper in love with it. And while the second week of our class, taught by the wonderful Natasha Brushadsky, we came across a guy named Archilochus, who was sort of the Bob Dylan of the 7th century BC. He was revered. At the same time, he was so irreverent that he was banned in Sparta. And when I heard the phrase "banned in Sparta," I said, "Well, that's got to be the next name of my next album. How cool is that?"
Well, Robin, let me ask you very quickly before you bring our next guest on. Where are you located, first of all?
I'm in the blessed town of Shelburne Falls, Massachusetts, which it's like Brigadoon or kind of a hippie Mayberry. It's so cultural, so artistic, so friendly. It's a cute little place it's got a walking bridge called a flowered bridge next to the car bridge, over the falls, and it just couldn't be sweeter. There's a place to roll down the hill.
And is there any chance that you'll be bringing this to New York?
Well, I have a few things lined up. On August 15th, me and my longtime partner in crime against music, David Buskin, are going to be playing with our great pals Christine Lavin, John Forster, and Carla Ulbrich. You got to have no Christine.
Yes, of course.
And we call ourselves April Fools. We were at Birdland a couple of times this year for Jamie DeRoy birthday and for a show of our own. And we're playing it as the as a special guest at the Philadelphia Folk Festival on the weekend of August 15th.
Well, make sure that you have all those dates sent to me, and I can include them on the YouTube channel.
I sure will.
We actually, one of our regular viewers, a dear friend, Joyce Glasgow, happens to be watching us from Greece right now.
Wow.
And she's, I'm in Greece, soaking up ancient history. I communed with Artemis at the Pyrrhus Archaeological Museum. So thank you,
wonderful.
Joyce.
Hi, Joyce. I know what you mean about communing. I felt like I was channeling when I was writing these songs from the bits and pieces, fragments left over by the ancient Greek lyric poets.
Oh, that's great.
It was a joy, and it was so moving.
Well, Robert, you're going to bring on our next guest. So you're the Monty Hall of the hour. Door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3?
2.
And we've already seen her. That's Kimberly Hockey. But I've got another very.
What do I win? Wait a minute. That's Kimberly Hockey. That's fantastic. What do I win?
Probably tickets to her next show, or she's got a project that she can tell you about.
Cool.
And I think maybe you want to jump on board with that.
Folks may say we're antiquated if they care. So we're not sophisticated, leave to the millionaire. I'm gonna stick to the moon and the stars. That's my philosophy. Nature must have got a spring for people like you and me.
Wow. Kimberly, the fact that you do that is just incredible.
Which part of it? The dancing around?
No, the singing with the big band. I mean, that's everybody's dream.
Lucky. I'm so lucky. Yes, it was my dream for many years. I started in musical theater and did some jazz clubs. I was like, someday, I'm watching Glenn Miller on YouTube. Someday I'm going to be singing with a big band. Someday I'm going to be on Richard Skipper's show. Not once.
Well, tell us about this project that you're working on, which fascinates me. That people, I mean, is this through Zoom? That you're doing these classes that you're putting together?
Yes, so it's called Visionary Vocalist. I do have a website. I've been a voice coach for many years, long before I wanted to. It was like a job in college. I'm like, I don't want to teach. And then I fell in love with it, not just, vocal technique, but the style of it, helping singers who want to sing the Great American Songbook and learn material and know what to do on stage, how to move, how to work with a band. So I teach on Zoom. I have vintage jazz vocal courses that run for about 8 weeks at a time. I've done 3 of those. And right now I just launched a membership called the Songbook Studio, which is open to all singers of all levels, beginner to pro. I've got a 10-year-old. I have an 84-year-old. Everybody learns one Great American Standard a month. And I break it all down. People can record themselves.
Does everybody, everybody who's doing this course, are they learning the same song?
In the membership, they are. Yep. It's hosted on a program called Circle, which is like a private Facebook group. So it's a safe way to explore your voice and try things out while still having performance experience, because virtual performance is still performance, and it closes the gap between practicing at home and getting up on stage at a Birdland open mic, which can be terrifying the first time.
And you both, Robin has done shows there. Have you done Jim Crusoe's open mic?
Yeah, years ago. And a few people mentioned that it's time to go back, and I would agree. I would love to go back.
I want to ask you, as a teacher, I'm going to put you on the spot right now, Kimberly. What do you think the biggest mistake that singers make when going to sing at an open mic? I've got my own theories on that.
Oh, yeah, I want to hear your theories.
I'll tell you after I hear yours. But what do you think is the biggest mistake that you see or hear singers do over and over again when it comes to doing an open mic experience?
The first thing that comes to mind is they sing as if they're practicing or as if they are trying to replicate what they did in practice rather than just take a moment to really ground, root down, feel the room, and exchange energy with the audience and feel the love. That way, you know, that performance might not be how you rehearsed it, but it's going to be special. For better or worse, you're going to definitely connect more with the audience, and that's ultimately what matters most.
Well, for me, I think the biggest mistake that singers make when doing an open mic is not knowing your audience. I have seen people do material that just is not right for that audience. And, you know, if you want to do something that's a little off color or something like that, that may work in the context of your own show when people are specifically coming to see you. But when you are performing in a situation like Jim Crusoe's cast party, know the audience that you're performing for. And they're
And know your song.
And know your song.
It blows my mind when people get up to like a Jim Caruso's and they don't know their lyrics or they don't know the song. It's like, guys, you got one chance. Here it is, you know.
It's true. But all great.
You're going to help us bring on our next guest, but I've got a question for you. What does the term chosen family mean to you personally, and how has that definition evolved over time?
Chosen family. You saw the video of me singing with 18 musicians. I would say the bands that I work with are my chosen family, and it's been so nice to have been adopted into these musical worlds when I didn't grow up in a musical family myself. I always felt like an outsider, and I still do. I live in Massachusetts. Oh, Shelburne Falls. Hey, Robin. I live in Worcester, Massachusetts now, and in the past I've lived in the Catskills, upstate New York, always on the fringe of New York City, where part of my heart will always be. But I think I'm also destined to be a bit of an outsider to help show the way to others who want to be in the spotlight too. So chosen family, musicians, my students, the audiences that I get to sing for. It's, everybody who shares the joy of this music.
That's wonderful. Well, Kimberly, you're going to bring on our next guest. One or two?
One. And
this is a new member of my chosen family, because Emily and I met at a party. I won't say where the party was or what the party was, because some people may not have been invited, but Emily and I were invited to the party. How are you, Emily?
I think I was kind of a crasher, but I'm just splendid.
Very well, I might
say. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I feel very honored.
So, Emily, tell us about the work that you're doing, because you've got a very exciting project coming up that I was telling Ray about before we started the show. And this is very exciting.
So, I went to school for creative writing, and generally I consider myself a creative writer. But I decided recently to pursue making a documentary. And my friend Tyler Evertson, but she also goes by Miss Tyler Alexander, who was the first Miss Gay Asbury Park. Hang on, I can never remember it all. The Miss Gay New Jersey, first Miss Gay New Jersey, 1990, Miss Gay New York City, 2003. Anyway, this person inspired me to make a documentary about them, but not just about Miss Tyler. As I continue to meet more and more folk in the LGBTQIA, et cetera, plus that beautiful rainbow of a world, it just keeps growing like a tree. And it's been lovely.
What is the one thing that has surprised you the most stepping into this world that you knew nothing about before meeting Tyler?
So since we're on the theme of family, I did not understand at first when I heard people saying, introducing me, this is my daughter. Oh, and here's my other daughter. And here are my nieces. I'm like, whoa, you've got a big family. And they do. But I did not understand this concept of drag mothers before until relatively recently. And just the fact that there are a lot of, I guess you could say, surrogates in the drag community and in the entire LGBTQ plus community, where people will call one another nieces, fathers, etc. I know several people who had been ostracized from their homes at young ages, and to be brought into the circle as an ally and an advocate and a friend has just been one of the best things that's ever happened to me.
Wow. God bless you. Thank you for that. Well, obviously, when you met Tyler, and Tyler lights up a room as well. But obviously, meeting
He's
Tyler,
iridescent.
yes, that's true. But when you first met Tyler, obviously you didn't meet Tyler saying, "I'm going to make a documentary." What was the light bulb moment where you said this needs to be captured on film?
Oh goodness. Well, Tyler and I originally met teaching at a college. We were both stuck in adjunct land for a while. And I didn't even know that he did drag until we gradually became friends. And naturally, my partner Dan and I introduced Tyler to Dan, etc. And I have Dan, my sweet Irishman, to thank for bringing me to to my first Tyler Alexander viewing in the city. And we ended up at I think it was a bar called the Candlelight. Some of you may know. I think it's
the
closed
Candle.
now.
The Candle.
Okay, yes. And let's just say we had a gay old time. And Dan adores Tyler. And so Tyler would bring me to shows and pageants, Miss Paradise at the Empress Hotel in Asbury. And I would come back from these trips and Dan would just see how exuberant I was. I was just on a high, all natural, of course, sharing pictures and stories. And he said, "You fool, why don't you make a documentary about Tyler?" So here we are.
Here you are.
Cool.
Well, I'm going to drop some names right now. And I hope that he doesn't mind my dropping these names because I'm about to bring on our next guest. And just some of the names, I'll bring them on while I drop these names. Names that are part of his extended family. Liza Minnelli, Billy Stritch, Seth Sykes, Mike Renzi, Connie Francis. These are all part of the world of Nicholas King. But Nicholas, I want to say you've made their lives much better and richer.
Aw, that's so sweet of you. Hi, Richard. Hi, everybody.
It's true.
Hey, Nick.
And Nicholas, I am so excited because next Friday night, Nicholas is performing in my backyard. You know,
That's
I can
right.
walk. Yes, I can walk to Otto's from here. I am so close to it.
So we're doing the after party at your house. That's what I'm
Yes,
Right.
yes, I would love that.
Wonderful.
But I mean, Mark Rosen, who is a dear, dear friend of ours and my neighbor, Mark, dropping another name, was married to Arlene Dahl. But of course, Arlene Dahl was married to him. And I'll tell you something, Nicholas, I performed at Mark Rosen's 50th birthday party as Judy Garland. So welcome to the show. And how are you doing? I know that you had a big loss in your life yesterday with Connie Francis, and we're all feeling it. I mean, what an impact she made.
Truly. I mean, she, you know, it's a personal loss, but it's a loss for all of us because she just had this very youthful spirit and these sparkling eyes, you know, that could just reach across, you know, a picture or a video or just across the room. And I know that just seeing the effect that she had on so many people, even though she wasn't in the spotlight for so long, you know, she hadn't really been doing a lot of professional things. I mean, she was very busy up until a couple months ago, where she was out and about, and she was at every show. I mean, every time I performed down in Florida, she was at every show that I ever did. And
became a TikTok sensation.
Who knew?
She covered all bases before she passed.
She really did. But I think it's the hole that she's left in all of our heart is pretty big. She was the first female international recording artist. I mean, her father, as tough of a guy and as controversial as he was, he was smart about having her record an album in 12 languages and then marketing that language to that country. So she made a Japanese record, they marketed in Japan. She made a German record. She made 12 languages and released it in those countries, and they went to #1. So she's the first international artist, to have a #1 record in 12 countries, 12 different languages. And, people, I think we kind of forget how difficult that was back in the late 50s, early 60s to reach that sort of broad success. She was sort of that first international superstar,
Wow.
And just a sweetheart. I mean, my favorite memories with her are, sitting on her couch and watching movies and eating pasta dinners and playing Scrabble. I mean, those are my memories with her, and I have
it's very interesting.
I have to be honest. I never won.
Well,
and I'm not saying this to you to be silly. But I never beat her at Scrabble, not one time in the last 15 years ever. And I tried my damnedest to try to beat this woman. I never beat her once in 15 years to Scrabble. She was brilliant with that.
Nicholas, I want to bring something up that you just touched upon, and I share this picture because this is the first time that I performed for Carol Channing. And we became very good friends. And but there comes a point where, and I'm sure it happened. I mean, you also, I mentioned Liza Minnelli and also Connie, Carol Channing, and Ray is very good friends with another iconic Sandy Duncan, just to mention one. You get to know these people, and they are regular people, who love to have those pasta dinners and love to play Scrabble and do these things. What have you learned about yourself through the lens of the people that have been a part of the fabric of your life?
I think I've learned that, I think they say that, water seeks its own level, so I think we're drawn to people that share our qualities or that have qualities that we want to emulate. And I certainly know with Liza, with Connie, I mean, these are two humans that have been incredibly generous to me. Liza still, are incredibly generous and supportive of me and nurturing my career. And it's something that I find myself doing now when I meet young people, because I'm so
younger.
Old. When I meet younger people that I think are really swell, I want to make sure that I shout it from the rooftops, and I want to support them, because I know how important it was to me to have that sort of support. And that's something that I want to pay forward. And I find that it's something that, I've never really been a competitive person, even since I was a little kid. There'd be auditions that I wouldn't get, or a show that I wouldn't get. And Mom would say to me, "Isn't that wonderful, Ricky?" Or Ricky got that job. Isn't that great? Aren't you so happy for him that he got this job? And I go, "Well, yeah, but I wanted to do it." "Yeah, but isn't that wonderful that Ricky?" And what we're going to do? We're going to send him flowers on opening night. This was what my mom, my mom and dad taught me to do. So finding that sort of personality in other people like Liza and like Connie that are very collaborative and very supportive to the nth degree, it's something that I treasure. When I look at young people that inspire me nowadays, of course, I think about people like my friend Veronica Swift or David Marino, or Ella Mae Dixon. I mean, some of these people that are just, they're so good, and I go nuts for it. And I want to do anything that I can do by introducing them to venues or to concert promoters or other singers, or have them as a guest in my show to promote them, whatever little way that I can do. But that's a quality of theirs that I certainly try to emulate in my own life.
Absolutely, and that's beautifully said. So I'm going to go around with each of you, and I've got some questions that I want to ask each of you specifically about this theme of chosen family. And Ray, I'll start with you. And the question is, how has your chosen family influenced the kind of stories that you tell, or the way that you want to tell them?
Well, it certainly has changed the way I tell my stories over the past year, just because of my diagnosis and not knowing how long I'm going to be alive. So, I mean, You know, the thing I love about Doris, I always say Doris is the nicer version of me. I love her because when I do Doris, I'm representing my family and telling all those stories about my family. I mean, Richard, you've never met Taffy and Duke, but you probably feel like you know them as well as I do. I
I
mean,
can describe your rumpus room to a T.
yeah, and this is mine now. This is actually my room
Yes.
now. But I mean, it really has. I mean, I it has taught me again. I've said this earlier. It's taught me to find joy in everything, and especially in my storytelling, because I am a storyteller. These and all of my stories are about joy. They're about, and Richard, you've been to my shows. We've done shows together. I mean, and my guests, and people always say when they leave my show, my God, I just feel so good. And if, that's what it's all about for me. It's always been that. I mean, in theater, I want people to feel good about watching a show or being on, whatever. But especially now, it's so important for me to sing about joy, talk about joy, and hopefully spread the joy throughout my audience.
That's great. Robin, beyond the Greeks, have you ever created a piece of work, written, performed, or otherwise, that was directly inspired by someone in your chosen family?
Oh, I think everything. I think that I've been married a few times, so in chosen families can also be temporary, and but I think that you take a lesson from one of Plato's great ideas was let your lover change you. Learn from your lover, learn from your lovers, and I feel like every song I've written uh, has been informed by uh, the love that I've accepted from people over the years, and it's I think if you listen to my stuff, you'll hear them, um, and uh, I, I'm delighted that that happens.
Well, that's wonderful. Kimberly, in what ways has your chosen family given you greater courage or the freedom to take artistic risk when it comes to your work?
hmm So I started singing jazz in college when I was at Fordham at Lincoln Center, and my friends who went to SUNY Purchase were performing at Birdland, at Zinc Bar. They were gigging like 20 something year old. Actually, some of them were still teenagers, like having their own gigs. And I didn't know how to do anything off script at all. So I learned so much from my friends, Asaf Gleisner, great pianist, Cyrilla May, this wonderful community of artists that they were really my first glimpse into what being a jazz singer and an improvising musician could be. And the courage that came from that, just getting up on stage and doing it, and whatever happens, happens, it has helped in so many other ways.
That's great. Emily, I already know partially the answer to this question because of what you're doing. But you use your art to make sure that others feel seen, especially those who might also be seeking a chosen family. And is that an element with your work that is coming into your work? I mean, you mentioned earlier that you knew nothing about these chosen families that are created out there. How is that influencing the direction that your film is taking?
Well, as I said, it's just sort of expanding like branches of a tree. And I really can't think of any better metaphor for family. But I also want to add that I have multiple sclerosis, and I was diagnosed in 2016, and I couldn't lift my left leg at the time. And it was because of my partner, the help of friends that I met through work, them taking me to doctor's appointments, them seeing me through my health hellscape that enabled me to be the resilient person that I am. I can now lift this leg over my head. I won't do it right now.
She did it at the party the other night,
Oh,
folks.
did so you've already seen it, Richard. That's okay.
I've seen it.
Do it, do it, do it.
Oh, geez. Well, let's see
Oh
how.
my.
Oh!
But
You're not going to see that on any other podcast today.
Marilyn May is doing that right now.
Only fans.
Lord.
I think Stephen Colbert is doing that.
Oh,
But
I love it.
I feel compelled to to tell my story, but I also feel that by talking about my experience with multiple sclerosis, I am bringing visibility to what many consider to be, at least sometimes, an invisible disability. And I have my chosen family. I also have my parents. I'm the only child of two amazing people, and they were elementary art teachers forever. They are artists. They've inspired everything that I do. But I'm an only child. They're getting older. And so it's actually been more of a conscious decision to seek and choose and expand my family, if you will, people who nurture me and my art. And yes, that beauty of storytelling, both my story and the stories of others. So it's been lovely.
Wow, that's wonderful. Nicholas, again, I may know the answer to this next question, but maybe I don't. Can you recall a time when working on a creative project led to the formation of chosen family relationships beyond your physical family?
Say that one more. Say that
Can
one.
you recall a time when working on a specific creative project led to the formation of chosen family relationships?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, well, I did a lot of work as a little kid. I did a lot of Broadway shows, cartoons.
And I saw you as a little kid.
You did? Gosh, I can still fit in the same suit. That's the funny part.
You'll always be Chip, Nicholas.
That's right. Well,
Always.
here I am.
Well, Hollywood Arms, you were just adorable.
Chip memorabilia. People give me Chip memorabilia all the time. I have about 500 chips in this house. Like a Chip shrine. Anyway, that sounds like a bass player, Chip Shrine. Anyway,
I like.
yeah, and I felt very, I feel very lucky in the sense that when I was a kid, I had a lot of these people that I worked with that were very protective of me. Andrea McCardle is one great example. She was my Belle in Beauty and the Beast, and to this day, I mean, we still chat and hang out, and she's very protective of me. If anything goes awry, she'll cut someone for me, and that's beautiful. I've known her for over 25 years, and it's like it's really special to have that. Tom Selleck is another one who's like that for me. When we did 1,000 Clowns together.
Everyone go and see Nicholas King and Tom Selleck on. Have you seen it, Emily?
I did.
The clip of them on the Tonight Show?
Well, my mother took me to see it on Broadway.
Gosh.
Oh yes, absolutely.
That's wild.
And someday, Nicholas, I'll sing you my Gaston parody, but not.
Oh,
not
please.
tonight.
Oh, I'd love to hear that. I'd love to hear that.
That's for another night.
Sure. But Tom was one of those people too, when we were doing the show, I'm in an adult world and adults speak the way they speak. And so Tom set up a swear jar. So anytime someone swore in front of me, they had to put money in it. Well, I walked home with so much money every week. But that was sort of these adults took really good care of me, and even they're still in my life today. I can call them with any sort of problem or any sort of frustration, and they're my friends. They're more than just colleagues, but they're people that I value in my life as friends. I heard a great expression that you have your biological family and you've got your logical family.
Oh,
and I'm lucky to have both. I like Emily. I'm an only child, and I love my parents dearly. And I feel very lucky to have both of those things. But like an only child, you're not used to having siblings. You don't have, so you try to find them in other places. And so I have such a collection, boy, of adopted family members that are either in show business or out of show business that are truly family to me. And I feel like I'm incredibly lucky that way.
That's wonderful. Ray, how do you honor chosen family in your work, especially in a culture that often prioritizes traditional narratives?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm probably so untraditional considering I do drag for a living. It's not a whole. The funny thing is, my mom, who had Alzheimer's, I showed her a picture of Doris Deer, and I said, "What do you think of this?" She said, "Well, I don't remember taking that picture, but I sure do look good."
Ah,
I was like, "Okay, full circle. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do." Or at 65, 7 years old. Um, wait, what was the question?
well, well, I already know part of this because you bring so many people onto the stage, and
Mm.
you, I mean, you could very easily do the Doris Deer show, and it could be an evening of Doris Deer alone on stage, sharing the stories that you tell so brilliantly, but you choose to share that space with other artists. So you're
Yeah.
creating your own narrative as far as these.
Yeah, and I mean, I did that series that streamed on television for 4 seasons, multiple award winning, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, when everyone on during COVID, everyone was like standing in the shower and singing, and nobody sounded good. I knew all these amazing singers, and they're like singing in the bathroom and stuff. But I wanted to do something different. And I decided to create this series that I literally celebrated, much like you do, Richard. I had them on and I just wanted to celebrate the artists. I didn't want to talk about gossip and the bad crap. I just wanted to celebrate these people through their artistry, through their careers, and through their lives, and just celebrate that, and so people can see that all of us here are more than just that thing on a stage,
Mhm.
right? Because that's a curated experience when you see us all on stage. We've decided what we're going to say, how we're going to look. But I wanted to just learn about the real people. And I gotta say, like everybody likes Sandy Duncan and Don Correa and so many other stars that came out of that show. They're all my friends now
Mhm.
because we sat down and had real conversations. It helped to make them a strong cocktail. I, I will say that opened them up a little. But I mean, we're all friends because it was just a celebration of who we are as people. And I think that that's my narrative. I mean, that's what I love. I mean, I've seen Nicholas on stage many times and many others, but when you get to know people, it's a very different
Mhm.
experience.
Mhm.
And it doesn't mean that everyone's going to be your best friend.
That's right.
God,
That's right.
God knows we're all different, but getting to know someone and knowing who they are beyond the lights,
Mhm.
I think is a beautiful thing as human beings.
And especially in this business, which is
Oh
not
yeah.
all. It's not all the bright lights, everyone. So we all have our good days and we have our bad days. Robin, what role does your chosen family play when it comes to your sense of legacy and what you hope to leave behind?
Well, uh, my chosen family and what do I hope to leave behind? Legacy. Uh, I hope that these songs that I've sort of channeled from ancient Greek lyric poets who passed away 2,500 years ago, and all that was left of them was fragments, was from bits of pottery and fragments of parchment, shreds of parchment, and I kind of assembled them into mosaics of songs that moved me, um, and I wanted to share them, and I've just you know the I want all my chosen family, whether it's audience or family or or next door best friends, to listen um, and uh, let yourself be loved and let yourself be changed.
Wow, what a beautiful sentiment. Um, I've got one last question for the Kimberly, Emily, and Nicholas, so you can all think about this, and then we're going to play a little. I've got a little experiment that I want you all to do. Kimberly, what is the one thing that your chosen family has given you that you don't think you would have found without them, and how does that live in your work today?
My ride's here. I'm gonna go.
Okay, that's
That they
on the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe. Yeah.
Probably my connection to the Great American Songbook as a whole, because I think I always loved musicals theater. I would have stayed with that. love it. But through my chosen community, I've discovered all these different shades of American music, from the blues to musical theater, cabaret, jazz, folk music, everything, every color of it. And I'm just so grateful for the inputs of everyone in my community, and that they would share their musical background with me.
That's great. Emily, same question.
Nicholas's ride distracted me.
Oh, no, the
Richard,
question is, what is the
can you
one
repeat
thing?
the question?
What is the one thing that your chosen family has given you that you don't think you would have had found without them? And how does that live in your work today? And I think
I think an ounce of confidence.
Yeah.
I think I tend to suffer from, self-deprecation, which I think can be fun. I think it makes for good jokes, really, but a little bit of imposter syndrome too. So just, bravery, confidence.
Okay. And Nicholas?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing, support, unconditional love. These people don't need to be in your orbit. No one's holding a gun to their head saying, you have to be friends with Nicholas and go to his shows. No one's forcing them to do anything. But the fact that they continue to show up, and for me, not I don't mean at shows. I actually prefer if they don't come to my shows.
Well, I'm going to be there next week.
Good. But that they, that they show up for me when I need them, and without getting into any details, the last several years have been quite challenging for me on a personal level. And there were moments when I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it was very dark. And I had an immense support group there to just answer the phone, answer a text, say, hey, we're going for a walk in the park. You're coming, you're meeting me, done. And also from some of the most surprising sources, some people that you don't always know are in your corner until you give them the opportunity. And then when you see how people show up for you, and I feel very lucky to have that in my back pocket.
That's wonderful. Now I've got a little experiment. We're going to run maybe a few minutes over. I hope you can all stick around for just a few more minutes. But do all of you have an address book or a database or a list where you keep your friends that you refer to, or not? You all do.
Yes.
So I want you all right now, without naming names, I want you to go to your address book, and I want you to see who the second person is that pops up. You know who it is, Nicholas?
Yes, well, I'm considering that I have my top 9 on my phone, on the iMessage.
Number 2, that's who I'm referring.
Okay, number 2. Yeah, I think. Okay. Can I look at my phone just to be sure?
You can look to make sure.
I think I know.
You don't need to name names. I thought it was. You all do this?
Oh.
Okay, in a moment, I'm going to give each of you a chance to have your final word today. It could be about anything that we spoke about that you want to build upon, anything that we didn't talk about that you wish we had, or just any final message you want to leave everyone with today. Now, I asked you all to look at the second name on your list for a reason. I have made, a lot of you know this, some of you may or may not know this, new people that I'm meeting for the first time don't know this. I left social media at the end of February. And for me personally, it was a great decision, and I'm very happy about this. But what I've been doing since leaving, and I've been going alphabetically, and I've been calling 3 people each day. And I can't begin to tell you how many of those names are no longer here. Sadly. I'll make a phone call, and the call won't go through, and then I try to send an email, the email won't go through, and then I put their names in. I don't want to get morbid, but I looked them up only to find out that they had passed away during COVID or in the last few, because we all get busy in our lives. And we all feel that hitting the like button or leaving a comment or a share on social media is going to suffice, and it's not. And so I want each of you to call that second person, and I want you to let them know how they matter in your life. And I want you to let me know how it goes. Will you all do that for me? Great. And so do that. I end all of my shows with the same message. And the message is to go out and do something nice for somebody else without expecting anything in return. The next time you're going to go see a show, call that second name and say, I'm going to go see Nicholas and Billy Stritch. Would you like to join me? anyone out there who wants to join me, call me. And we'll do that. We'll go and celebrate each other. And it's important that we do that. I have a dear friend, Sean Moniger, and he says we're all in the same storm, but we're in different size boats. And I always say, I don't care what size boat you're on, as long as you have a skipper by your side. With that, I'm going to leave the screen. Robin, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay.
You finish, you'll pick the next person, and then I'm going to leave you all with a little promo for my upcoming shows in Provincetown. So thank you all for being here. I celebrate all of you, and you are my chosen family. So Robin, I'm turning it over to you.
Thank you, Richard. This has been great. I've enjoyed meeting everybody, and I hope to meet everyone again in other circumstances. Looking forward to it. Hope you guys all have blossoming careers in whatever you choose to do today or tomorrow, and we'll meet again. Let's turn it over to Nicholas Ray, the director. Oh, there's not Nicholas Ray. Nicholas and Ray. Okay, now let's give it to Emily.
So I'm not an urbanite. I come from the sticks in Pennsylvania originally. I live in Yonkers. Anyway, I was going down to Sardi's to a friend's party. And anyway, let's just say I got a little flustered, disoriented, and it was really hot, all right? I got a little upset. And at one point, I saw a sticker on a pole that said, "Good things are worth finding." So anyway, I found Sardi's somehow. And that's where I found Richard very recently, and I feel incredibly blessed. And I hope to get to know you all better as well. So thank you for including me. Oh, so who's next? Oh, Ray, since you're the first one to emote, go ahead. You take it away. Take it away.
Thank you. Well, it's been a year of challenges for me with my cancer, and I don't know what my future is. But at the end of the day, I just hope that my story reminds someone out there that joy, authenticity, and resilience can go hand in hand. We all carry something, but we can all shine through it. Take it away, Nicholas King.
Oof. I think one of the things that means the most to me is creating your own joy. Because especially in this world in which we're living in, the way our country is going, it's hard to find the joy. It's hard to find something to cling to hold on to. And it can be very challenging and very disheartening. And you have to make your own joy. If you don't find it, then make it and create it. And I think the thing that I try to live by every day is gratitude. Gratitude for my friends, for my career, sometimes for my lack thereof, and the downtime that I have to sort of hone myself and to get grounded, but just to find the gratitude in things. And I know that when I am feeling the most grateful is when I feel the most joy. And so those are my words to leave you with. Make your own joy, create your own joy, and create your own happiness. All right, Kimberly, take it away.
Bye, Nicholas. So nice to meet all of you today. Thank you, Richard, for having me back. I think I would like to end with encouraging everybody to rest more. I want to remind you that rest is resistance, making art is resistance, community is resistance, and you deserve all of those things. You deserve the rest. Our human bodies need it. So relax a little today, make some joy in your life and in someone else's life, and sing a song for fun. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.
Me.